I'm Emily Edwards, an intern with Climate Film, and what you just watched was Squirrelly Puzzling, a creative and cute stop motion animation short film in our Southern Shorts category. With us today is the film director.
Lori Nussbaum.
Lori, it's nice to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How did this idea come to be, and what inspired you to make Squirrelly Puzzling?
Yeah, so I've always been a fan of doing puzzles since I was very young, especially jigsaw puzzles. And in more recent years, I've been doing more difficult puzzles, what mostly the average puzzler wouldn't even try to attempt, like all one-colored puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2020, I made a stop motion of the puzzle that got into KIFF. And uh, to showcase a really difficult puzzle I had done, and I didn't just want to put it back in the box. I wanted to do something, and I had been a member of Climate Film for a number of years, and there was the KIFF deadline, and it just sort of made me think, well, maybe I should make a short film out of it. And so I've already made one puzzle short. So when you've done that, it's easier to do the line of thinking of maybe I'll make another one. And so I've done some more harder puzzles, and this all clear puzzle by the Little Flower Pot company. It was a really difficult puzzle, even though it's only like 144 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And so I completed it, and I left it on the table, and I didn't want to put it away. And it was just sort of sitting there for a while. And then I happened to go to the annual Rock Gem Mineral Show that's in Klamath Falls, and there's different rocks you can pick up and stuff. And I found these stone carved animals, and I was looking through them, and I found some squirrels, which I was like, oh my goodness, these are the best thing ever. And I happened to find seven of those, and so I got all of them, and decided to take them home. And I at first I was like, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, but I really like them. And they were sort of sitting on a table, and then I moved them to a different one, and then they were sort of beside the all clear puzzle. And then all of a sudden, like I was like, oh, I was thinking about maybe doing some like a short film with this all clear puzzle, and now I got these squirrels, and I was like, I wonder if the squirrels are about the right size. And it sort of just came about from that, as well as I had joked with a couple people that I'm becoming subgenre as a puzzle filmmaker. And so it just sort of came about from, you know, getting a puzzle, and then having these squirrels sort of nearby and thinking about making a puzzle. And it just, the idea sort of came from there, that these squirrels could move the pieces instead of doing some type of time lapse or individual pictures with just the pieces moving in, but no, motion or movement otherwise.
While making the film, was there anyone that was in the background encouraging you every step of the way?
I don't know about every step of the way. It'd be hard to get somebody that supportive, but yeah, no, when I had this idea about the squirrels sort of moving the pieces, I took maybe like 30 pictures, made an animation real quick, just to sort of get basic concept. Could this work? And I sent it to a friend of mine, and my friend was like, "Oh my goodness, you got to make this film." And so so definitely had some early support on. And then through making it and stuff, there's a couple times where I needed some input, because in my mind, since I'm creating it, I know what I want to tell, but it's also need a different perspective on somebody who hasn't seen this or didn't create it, like
Mm-hmm.
what they're thinking about when they watch it. And so I got that friend to give them further input, as well as one of my siblings gave a decent amount of input. So that was helpful. But yeah, any of my friends or family who I've talked to about squirrels or puzzles throughout my life, they've all been supportive to some degree. Maybe not as enthusiastic as I am.
Well, that support is always good, even if it's like a small bit. That probably helped push you a little bit to the film.
It did. Yeah.
What kind of equipment or software did you use to create your film?
Yeah, so I'm a member of Klamath Film, and so I can borrow their film equipment. So I borrowed a Canon EOS T17,
Hmm.
and as well as a tripod, which I didn't have a tripod the last short film I made, and tripod it was very helpful. And then I just used lights that I had at my house to make sure, and as well as different art pieces I had. The painting where most of the puzzles on is a painting that I had done as, and then the editing software that I used was Shotcut.
Hey, so while I watched your short film, Squirrelly Puzzling, I noticed the music was very upbeat, but had a very curious tone to it. Was there a reason behind the music that you chose, or was there other options that you chose but decided to pick this one instead?
Yeah. Um, so I love the music.
Mhm.
That's why I chose it. But yeah, no, originally I wasn't sure what I was going to do. At first, I thought maybe I'd do a narration. And then, as I was taking, thousands of pictures and sort of having the story evolve, it was like, that sort of makes sense. But then also it was like, as I was doing that, I was just thinking a lot to myself. And you know, I was like, well, I sort of want the audience to sort of have that same experience, or anybody who views it to be able to come up with a story themselves. And so that's why I sort of went towards having music.
Mhm.
And it actually took me about 3 hours of like my probably about 50 hours working on this to find the music that I wanted. And I was just like, it got to be easier than this. But yeah, I wanted something sort of lighthearted, upbeat, motivational. And I kept looking and I couldn't find anything exactly that I wanted. And finally, I found a tag that was video games, and like it was instantly after that, I found these three songs, and they just fit perfectly. And I actually, funny enough, I actually had the what I call the pixelated song. So once the puzzle actually starts coming together, I actually had that at the beginning, and the piano music when the puzzle starts coming. So I had them flip flopped, and it sort of worked, but like to begin with, the piano music is sort of quieter, and
Mhm.
it's a nice introduction versus like instantly being pixelated music that's really like upbeat, a little
Mhm.
bit louder. And so it just seemed to fit a little bit better. But yeah, I really like playing video games, and it had the upbeat and the tempo that I wanted, and
Mhm.
just really fit with what I had.
That's really cool that you used video game music for a little jigsaw puzzles film.
Well, it's basically a little video game per se with the squirrels.
I would say so, like kind of like a puzzle game.
Yeah.
Um, so I saw in the film that one of the squirrels was being a little mischievous and was running around with a puzzle piece, and everyone was chasing after him. Was there a reason you wanted to be a little goofy or to have a little fun with the film?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I especially once I was like, okay, I'm gonna have squirrels completing this puzzle.
Hmm.
It was sort of like, well, how would squirrels complete the puzzle? It would be lighthearted, playful. There would be some honoriness. There would be some tag. There would
Hmm.
be some. I'm not doing this puzzle. I'm just gonna like go around in a circle or go in a different direction.
Hmm.
And so yeah, and as I was doing the pictures and stuff, I was trying to make sure that there wasn't a repeat of how the pieces were coming together. And it like dawned on me like I could do a chase scene. And it just was really funny to me, and so I decided
Hmm.
to incorporate that in to show a little bit of more honoriness from the one squirrel.
I thought it was really cute that you had just a singular squirrel running around, and especially at the end when he brings like, "You want to do another
Yeah, well, and the pieces that he or that squirrel brings in that are colored, that aren't
one?"
the all clear, those are actually jigsaw pieces that I painted. So
Hmm.
those are just brand like you can't find a jigsaw puzzle that looks like that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it was sort of like you can have any of these and look how nice these look, but I want to keep the all clear, and the other ones are like no.
Why, out of any animal in the world, did you choose to do a bunch of squirrels? Are they a personal favorite family favorite, or was it just to be a little silly?
Definitely silliness. But I've always enjoyed squirrels. Where I went to college, there was a lot of squirrels, and
Mhm,
so got to see them running all over and playing, and just a lot of fun. And then, yeah, I just happened to find those different animals and stuff. And when I saw the squirrel, I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is the coolest thing
mhm.
ever!" So, yeah, I just sort of gravitated to the squirrels, I guess.
Since your film is a stop motion animation, what kind of process was the film like for you?
Using a lot of patience. Um, yeah, like I mentioned, it took me about 50 hours, and
Mhm,
most of those hours were actually just taking pictures, a few thousand pictures, and evolving. I had a couple ideas where I wanted the story to go, and I didn't want any repeats, but
mhm,
I didn't have any definite. It wasn't all written out. I sort of wanted that sort of organic, creative as it,
mhm.
just sort of intuitively what I feel like it should go to and stuff. And so, yeah, that's sort of how it went.
Just a lot of picture taking.
Yeah, yeah. I but I mean, it also gives a lot of, control in a way,
Mhm,
that it's like little minute changes, and, but it does definitely takes a lot of patience to consistently move the squirrels X amount and don't do too much unless you want the squirrel to be look like it's moving a lot faster, but yeah.
Did you have to consistently look at the pictures as you took them to make sure they were the right angle and the right pose you wanted the squirrels to be in?
Yeah, I did try to do that every, I don't know, 20 pictures or so, or wherever like a sort of a scene was. There's sort
Mhm,
of a breakup in my mind that's maybe not as clear to somebody who wasn't creating it, but
mhm,
um, yeah, it's sort of checking. But I mean, I was just looking at what's on the camera, so
mhm,
little small things I didn't notice until afterwards when I was editing it on
mhm,
the computer. Like, if you look really closely, my painting has a thin sort of plastic on it that's a mirror, and so you can actually see a reflection and the change of light a little bit. And so there's some small things that like I didn't notice, just looking on the back of the camera, but
mhm,
I don't think it takes away because I mean, it's very minor, and like you have to be deciding not to watch the squirrels and what they're doing to really pick up on that. But
mhm.
yeah, there's some small things that you can't see by just flipping through the pictures. But I didn't think through all that, before, I took all the pictures and then the puzzle was apart and it was like, I'm not putting this back together to to reshoot any of this.
Hey, is there anything else you would like to add about Squirrely puzzling?
Yeah, it was really fun to make, and I hope, everybody enjoys watching it or at least likes something from it, or, if you don't enjoy it, I would sure like to know because you might be the only person.
Wanting some feedback on it?
Yeah. But, yeah, no, there's some underlying themes that, aren't, super apparent, but, the squirrels coming together, working, together to
Mhm,
complete it, and just sort of the kindness and compassion and even potentially forgiveness of the one squirrel that was being ornery and taking a puzzle piece and wasn't sure if it was gonna bring it back.
mhm.
And so yeah, I think it's, um yeah, there's some, underlying tones if you wanna look at it, or you can just watch it as it is, and it's, entertaining.
Okay, thank you so much, Lori, for being a part of the Klamath Independent Film Festival. Squirrely Puzzling will stream on Sunday, September 18th at 11:30 a.m. in our Southern Shorts category.